Hey everybody, and welcome back to Investment Honey, where we talk about various crypto projects. Before we begin, a couple of reminders as always. I'm not your financial advisor, and I will never provide investment advice for you on this channel. With that being said, you guys can see we've got a lot of tabs up here that we're going to go ahead and take a look at. But also want to certainly welcome anybody that's new to the series. So thank you so much for joining us, and for anybody that's been with us since the beginning, thank you for continuing to support the channel and for following along in the series. So with that said, as always, I tend to encourage you guys to make sure you subscribe to the channel, because there are times when I'll go ahead and I'll send out community reminders, just like I did today, that I'm going to be traveling tomorrow, so I'll try to see about getting videos out, but if I can't, and then I can't, I plan to be gone just for a few days, so be back at home on the 2nd, but we'll see what I can do as far as getting any videos out in the meantime, while I'm away. But if I can't, again, I'll go ahead and I'll put something out in terms of the community reminders, just so people that are subscribed are aware, and that's just one of the benefits of making sure that you're subscribed. So I'm not 100% today, in terms of how I feel, but I definitely want to make sure that I get a video out to you guys, as well. So again, if you're new, make sure you go back to day 1, just so you can kind of go ahead and get connected to the introductions and how things are going to go and flow in regards to the series. And we'll go ahead and we'll jump into the review. And then once we're done with that, we'll head into the discovery part of the video, which is where we'll set up some filters, and we'll see what we can discover in the Dexscreener platform. So with that being said, we're going to start with Plat with Hat. We looked at this one, I think it was back on the 16th, so several days ago. And I had actually stopped monitoring this one, but I happened to see this somewhere as I was, browsing, Telegram, and saw that it did make some moves, but we saw this one again on the 16th. I set the alerts at 62K, as you can see, that I indicated here in the screenshot. And this is just what I took from the video recording, that I went back, because like I said, it's no longer in my alerts. And so yeah, I went back to go ahead and see when I did the video, and so it was, like I said, on the 16th. So found this one at 62K, and we had these alerts, set up, where it went under at 50K, and whether it went over at 80K. So here's the screenshot that I want to show you that really got my attention, which was that it actually, it took off. Now I think, I went ahead and deleted the alert somewhere around here when it just kind of bottomed out. Didn't really look like there was anything going on in the chart, but again, I didn't have any real conviction, as far as this particular token is concerned. But if you're somebody that, is copying the alerts that I make, you'll see, that obviously sometimes you just kind of have to wait it out, with the token. And, if you wait it out and you see what's still going on in the community and there's still some activity, obviously that can be an indicator, that they haven't given up on the token, and that there could be, some light ahead, for the token. And for this one, it definitely meets, one of those, that thought process, especially if you have some conviction. And all too often in a lot of tokens in crypto, people just kind of move on, to the next prospects. Now, for me, in the case of the series, there are so many tokens that I'm watching that, I can't just keep 200 alerts in my alert window. I'm not going to do that. But, for the rest of you guys, if you don't have as much going on in terms of, what you're watching, maybe some of you still decided to go ahead and keep an eye on this one. And if you did, obviously this was a great one to keep an eye on, because obviously it took off. So from 62K, and this one, obviously we can see it went over 240K. So that was some good gains, for that. And here, this is the current chart. It's not really, retracing much. I've mentioned before that when you look at charts, where you have these candles, where they're pretty much just sitting, and they're heavy, large green candles. Typically, people don't allow these to go ahead and stay this way. Now, it's great to see that it's kind of hanging out up here. It did here. There was some retracement here. It did here again, some retracement here. And then it did again, and it's staying up here right now. So we can see, even looking across this informational area, that, there's not a lot in terms of the minuses going on. So that is good to see that there is conviction, looks like from the holders, on this particular token, in terms of what their trading, behavior is, that they are holding and not just dumping these candles. So, and that's what you want to see. So I think this one certainly has potential. I don't know that it's going to go higher. It's really a difficult thing for me to go ahead and say that, a candle like this is going to stay here and it's going to continue to go up. At some point, these people that were here in the early days, back here on the 17th to the 20th, to the 23rd before this took off, they may not have sold offloaded their whole bag, especially if they're still seeing more buy pressure on this chart, so they may be still looking to go ahead and dump it. If this continues to move up at some point, I think there's going to be a hard correction on this chart, because again, this kind of stuff is not typical. It doesn't stay for very long. I'm impressed that it's staying, right now, but like I said, a correction is coming, especially because I believe people that were in this early at the bottom levels of the chart, I believe that they still may be holding tokens, and at some point they're going to offload those tokens. So just keep that in mind. If this is something that maybe catches your eye as I'm going through the review, that you may want to take a closer look at. But like I said, I'm highlighting this one. I'm not interested in keeping any alerts on this, but highlighting it because obviously we set alerts for this one more than 10 days ago, and obviously it finally took off, which is great. So we're going to close Plat with Hat. Okay. And again, that one's a great one to highlight, just because what it does, it highlights the fact that what we're doing is we're trying to discover tokens early, where we can possibly, if we're interested in taking an entry in it, we get an entry early before some big community has gone ahead and showed it to their community where it takes off, and then we're buying at a much higher entry point than what's ideal. So obviously catching it 10 days before it pumped, is exactly what this series is designed to do. Is to find tokens early. And for some of you, sometimes it does make sense to go ahead and send on a token that's at a bottom level, and it just continues to just go down and down and down. But then if you're already in it and you're maybe down 50%, maybe you're down 60 or 70%, sometimes it makes sense to just go ahead and say, hey, I'm just going to write it out. And sometimes it doesn't. I know for me particularly, I was in a token, the Melania coin. I think I was down 90% on that token. And then within a matter of days, I was up like 400%, so it just depends, on what you're looking at. It depends on what's going on in the community. And the thing about that particular token was that the community continued to stay connected to that token. They never gave up. And even when the community chat was basically dead, you could still see that there was activity from the team. So stuff like that, those are all indicators that hey, if there's conviction in it, if there's a narrative around it, that hey, let's see if maybe it might turn itself around. For this one, we looked at Believe. This one, I think it was back on the 26th. So you can see December 26th, 24. So we looked at this one on the 26th, and we looked at it around 228K. And so I actually forgot to update you guys on this one. So we can see the chart right now. It's pretty much, bottomed out at 21K. But if we got it on the 26th and it was at 228 would have been around this area right here, so you can see where my cursor is. You can also see the price point all the way to the right hand side of the chart, that 0.00002278. That's just under 228. And then what did it do from there? So it had a couple of high points, so we can see here on the 26th, it jumped to, where's the high peak on this? Let's do this. So the high peak on this would have been right here, which would have been almost 800K, retraced heavy, and then it came back up, and this time it hit over 850K. So again, another example of where we caught this one early on the 26th before it pumped. That was again at that 228, K area, which is around, here. Okay, yeah, that's close enough. Either way, so it's around here. And we caught it before it pumped. It retraced from the time that we saw it, but it did correct itself and it did head back up, very well. And then heavy retracement again, and then it made another pump. And like I've told you guys, when you see on a chart, where there's a couple of peaks, it's hard for a chart to continue to do that, so I'm not surprised this is bottomed out. But like I said, you see this peak here, you see this peak here, but for both of these peaks, we got in, you guys were alerted to this, through this series, before it pumped, so again, this is just what this is simply utilizing this platform. So like I said, the whole point of the series is we want to go ahead and find stuff early before it pumps, before it's chilled, by some influencer to a big community where you're finding out about it, after the fact, so So yeah, we're going to continue to do that, day by day as we continue to navigate, through this series to try to go ahead and find some early opportunities. And like I said, you can set the same alerts that I'm setting. I mentioned this several times, throughout the series, or you can go ahead and set your own alerts, as you explore setting your filters, beyond whatever content is being shared here in the video. So, and again, I just want to remind you guys, I know I sound a little tired today, but like I said, I'm a little bit under the weather, not 100%, but I definitely wanted to make sure I get a video out to you guys. So I know I don't have my normal energy, but hopefully you guys, you'll just follow along with me and, and keep in mind that I still want to just make sure I got some content out to you. So we're going to go ahead and close this one out. So here we go. All right. And again, Purple Doge, one I continue to go ahead and talk about. We talked about this one, I think, yesterday as well, and for the last couple of days. And, each time we talk about this, the market cap seems to be higher and higher. This one, I think it actually touched over 200K since our conversation yesterday, since what was shared with you yesterday. So again, it continues. I personally, I think this is an interesting one to watch because I think, because it hasn't dumped yet, there's possibilities. And I mentioned this, several days ago, that there was a chance that maybe it could get back to, its higher highs. And so it still looks like it's staying in there. The community is staying in there and sticking with this one. And so again, it continues to be an interesting one to watch, especially if you've set the same alert and maybe you've got an entry in this one, but I'm happy to see that even though this one went to as low as, like, I think in the 20K area, that it's really bounced back, really well. And for anybody that caught that dip, I mean, you've done really well continuing to stick with this one. So we're going to close this one out. And for this one, this is one we talked about yesterday. And I went ahead and I think I set an alert at 800K or something like that. Yeah, 850. And I said at the time that, hey, it might be kind of crazy, because I think when we found it, yeah. And I think this one actually even touched over 1 million, when we were looking at it yesterday. And I said that, it's early for this one, that, we were still a few days out, from New Year's, and that my thought process was, I think we saw it around here, was that this one was going to retrace. And so I thought there was going to be a high likelihood that it could retrace, which is what led me to set the alert at the, market cap points that I set them at, which was 850. So, and this one I think has actually gone even, you can see here, I think it almost touched, under 500K. So yeah, if you were somebody that was monitoring this one, let's say you saw the video and you wanted to go ahead and, keep an eye on this one. If you watched it, for the alert that I set, which is at 850, and I've told you guys before, when you set these alerts, again, they're indicators, so when it triggers, you can continue to watch. You don't have to take action at that point, but you can continue to watch it. Because again, it's an indicator, whether is it still going down or is it going to go back up? Is it going to correct itself, or is it going to continue to follow the behavioral pattern, on the chart? And in this case, when it hit that 850, what happened? It continued to go ahead and retrace. So you could have watched, for, a lower low to see, maybe that was an entry, or you could have gone ahead and, put a few bucks in and then, just watched it from there, and put that, that buy dip, using that buy dip function in Maestro. And again, those links are in the description, to utilize that bot. But you could have used that function and, set it to go ahead and, buy at a lower market cap. So that's always a strategy, that you can utilize too. And that's one of the nice things that also about using the bot if you're going to trade. So this one, obviously, this is where we are right now at 836. It could continue. And actually, it's 881. So this is going to adjust. Remember, there's a delay here. But this continues to be one that's interesting to watch. I think that as we get closer and closer to New Year's, you see a lot of these New Year's tokens are just kind of sitting kind of flat. They're not really taking off, but you got some retracement. But they've just kind of been bouncing, up and down, up and down. I think that as we get closer to New Year's, we'll start to see some of these tokens actually, start to correct either to the upside or correct to the downside. But I think it'll be more sharp than what we're seeing right now. Okay, so that's going to be 2025. Just wanted to highlight the fact that it did hit that under alert on this one. And then Kiki, this has been one that we talked about, several days ago. And you can see from the chart pattern, this one's just continued to be on the rise. So this one's pretty encouraging to me, as well. I think this one was like over 300K when we saw it. Yeah, okay, so just over 300K when we saw it. And then I set the alerts at 325, and then for the over, and then on the under 275. So yeah, so for this one, this is essentially sitting at their all-time high. This would probably be the only, kind of heavy dump. And it's not even that terrible, and then after that, it looks really balanced in terms of, the buys and sells on this one. So that's encouraging as well, especially when you consider the time frame for this one has been, several days that it's been alive. And the community has been doing a very responsible job, as far as I can tell, in terms of their buying activity and the selling activity, particularly on the sell side, that regardless of what's going on the buy side, they have not been dumping this one, which is what you want to see on a chart. Okay, so that's the reason why I bring that one up, is because, again, this was continued to be on the upside as far as, as far as what happened from the time that we set the alert and where we are now. Now, looking at this one, this is not one that we've talked about, on the channel. I found this one, so I just figured, hey, we're going to set an alert for it, and then I bring it up to you guys, during the video. And again, keep in mind, as we do this this series, there may be stuff that I go ahead and find on my own that I just go ahead and bring up in the video content. But I just let you know, this is one that I'm going to go ahead and be watching. So, and that's the case here. This is one that I'm going to continue to watch. It hasn't been alive that long. I think maybe less than 10 days. So yeah, 8 days, 6 hours, and I like what I'm seeing on the chart. This is an ETH token, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, and I wouldn't be looking, for an entry, because I think I saw it higher than this. Let me see on the alert. I saw it at 1.3, so a little higher than where it is right now. But I'm looking for more of a retracement on this one. I think I set the alert for 1 million. So yeah, so I want to see this, touch 1 million before considering doing anything, as far as this token is concerned. But yeah, nothing too crazy here on the minus side. On the 5 minute, minus 2.7. On the 1 hour, minus 8.7. And then on the 6 hour and 24 hour, we got some pluses there. So just letting you know that that's what's going on here as far as this token is concerned. All right. Okay, so with that being said, what we're going to do, we're going to close this out, and then we're going to head into discovery mode. I don't anticipate looking at a ton of stuff today, just because, like I said, not really feeling that hot today. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at some tokens, and then we'll go and we'll call it down today's video. So hopefully, as I, before I get into my next video, hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better than I am today. But like I said, wanted to make sure I got something out to you guys. So we've already got, my, what I want to see in terms of this front page, the age, 5 minute, 1 hour, 6 hour, 24 hour, and the market cap. All right, so we're just going to go into filters here. I think we're going to focus on ETH today. So let's take a look at Ethereum. All right, so this is going to be Uniswap. There we are. And as far as liquidity, remember, we never touch liquidity. So we're going to go straight to our 50,000. And we're going to go to, let's go, we'll just do our 500 since we're only focusing on one chain. We'll take a look at new stuff, today, just like we did. I think we did that yesterday too. So we'll go to 24 hour. So just tokens that are at least a day old, or at least an hour, to a day old. And then we'll do 10% minimum on the change. So here we go. And even going out to 500,000, we got a ton of scams. And again, keep in mind, we're looking at, super fresh tokens too. So, but as always, we'll open up a couple of these, just so you can see that, hey, they are scams. You get no socials, just a straight up candle, very few transactions. And this has been alive for 10 hours. So that's one you don't want to touch. And then this one here, no socials, not typically what you would see in terms of the buy transactions, just massive buys there. You look at the age of it, it's been alive for 8 hours, and this is what your chart looks like. So it's definitely a scam. So again, as always, just more reinforcement. Anytime you see, this box with a question mark, you definitely want to go ahead and avoid it. Okay, so Bloop, we'll open that one in Mojo as well. I've mentioned this before, that anytime you see this Thunderbolt, with a number, it just means they boosted it, and it means that they paid for additional exposure. I'm 50-50, in terms of, the impact of boosts. Boosts don't always have an impact in my personal opinion. I've seen boosts do absolutely nothing to some tokens, and I've seen it do, I've seen it had positive impact on some tokens, but it's really just hit and miss. So, Here, if we look at Boop, and we'll go out to the 5-minute chart, looks pretty decent on this one. They got, all the socials. And then here, in Mojo, obviously the chart had a nice, move up, from the bottom here. So if anybody was here, they did really well. And then obviously, there was retracement on it. And now it looks like they're in some level of recovery, but still not really sure where this is going to go from here. But that's these two. And then we're going to adjust our filters. Again, we'll stick with ETH, but we'll go to 25 hours to, let's go to 100 hours. All right, so we're going to click apply, and we get less scams, but we got some other tokens we can take a look at here. So we'll open all these up. Okay, so now we got more to work with. Let's take a look here. Let's make sure everybody looks all right and has at least a Telegram. So we'll go to 15-minute here. All right, so we got a Telegram here. We'll go to the 15 minutes. Let's go out to the hour. Okay, so this is what we got going on. You guys know how I feel about, these that have this there kind of chart. Again, I'll always say it's great if you got in here, but for me, if I was looking at something like this, assuming everything works out, in the Telegram, I would want to see further retracement on this before I made, any kind of entry on the chart if it was me. But, again, there's always the option of, hey, putting, top blasting it, maybe a $3 or $4 buy, and then, utilizing Maestro to go ahead and put a buy dip, utilizing that function to go ahead and buy in on a dip, but again, like I said, that's one of the benefits of utilizing Maestro. So I'm going to go over to Mirror here. This one's bottomed out, not interested in, plus they're lacking a Telegram. And we're going to go to the 1 hour. Okay, so here, this one looks like maybe a bit of an uptrend. They do have a Telegram, so we'll keep that one. And then this one here, look at the 1 hour. They're currently in a downtrend, nothing crazy. They're at 31% in the 1 hour, but I think I'd be more concerned if we were sitting closer to 50 or 60%. So for this one, okay, we'll get it here. So we got a Telegram. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and jump into the channels and see what we got going on. So this one is a Matt Fury. I'm not seeing a portal, so they're currently trending. Last buy was at 206, and that was a little a minute ago. Okay. But again, they're trending, so for me personally, it says that they're trying to go ahead and get some exposure for the token. They're invested, they paid to go ahead and do that. They removed the $ before the ticker. Now it can be found more easily. I think that's probably a good move. Okay, so, and right now they're currently at their all-time high, so for this one, yeah, I think maybe we could go ahead and set some alerts on this for sure. But again, I'm not interested in setting an over alert. I'm interested in setting it under, and there we go. And why did I say that? Because obviously when you got that kind of chart, you're going to see, somebody's not going to let that stand. So this is the first one we've actually seen that, as I'm doing a recording, where you could see somebody that just kind of got impatient and said, screw that, I'm just going to go ahead and offload. And you see, wherever their entry was, and I'm guessing it had to probably be, pretty decent maybe. So let's see here. So this is where they bought in, and I can't see the dot. But either way, their buy would have been somewhere in here. And so, that's good trading. The buy here, and then they sold the top, so yeah. So that was very profitable, for them to go ahead and make that move. And then we can see that, once somebody went ahead and dumped a bunch of tokens, that you had buy pressure right away to go ahead and scoop up the dip. So for this one, I would still like to see a retracement on this. So, and you can see there's another one that went ahead and offloaded. So, let's see, we're currently sitting at, it says 138. So it goes under, we're going to say 138. All right. And let's say 100K on this one. Okay. Okay. So we're going to set that there. And, because again, I'm still skeptical. That's just a couple of people that offloaded. I think there are more people still kind of lurking that'll probably offload. So while it's great to see these green candles, again, I believe a correction is coming on this one. So that one was that. And then we're going to look at Mojo here. Currently sitting at 163. Let's see what's going on the channel. All right, I got to pause this real quick because I got a cough. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see what's going on here in the channel. So we get our link. Okay. So just under 900 members in this, and open chat, great. Okay, so anything going on? All right, so we're at 2:09 on my clock. So we want to see a buy. All right, so still within the 10 minutes. Still within the 10 minutes. So 2:03, so that's still within the 10-minute window for me personally. And they're trending, so good to see that they're trending, but they don't have any raids going on. So trending looks like what they're doing in terms of exposure. So we get 24 messages since we've been here. So I mean, there is, some action, from the community on this. So, all right. So we'll set an alert on this one. So for this one, we're going to set 2 of them. We'll set the under and the over. On the 6 hour, we're at the 41% mark. I typically don't like to, keep looking at them, if they're 50 and 60% or greater, unless, unless it's kind of bottomed out, and I'll set an alert just to monitor any action that may return to the chart, that I may want to go ahead and take advantage of. So, but for this one, we're going to go straight to market cap and under. And where are we setting this at? So we're setting this at 153 because looking at the tab, can't really make sense of what's going on there. So 153, we're going to set this at 100K as well. And then for the over, okay, so we get 153. And for the over, we'll set it at 175. All right, so the deviation, for the over is not too bad. Okay, so there we go for that one. And then for day, the minuses don't look terrible on this one. Chart doesn't look, horrible. We're going to take a look in the channel. If you're new here, again, keep in mind, I usually am more energetic than this, but like I said, today, whatever I've got is just kind of kicking my butt in terms of energy, so just have to bear with me. But looking at day here, so last buy came in at 211, they are currently trending, which is good to see. They got some pin messages going on, that's also positive to see. They entered SPY DeFi trending as well, so they're paying to go ahead and really try to get some exposure on this one. So that's helpful to see. So this one, yes, I definitely want to go ahead and take a look at setting some alerts. And I know I'm kind of in and out of these channels, but there's not a lot that I need to see in terms of making an assessment whether I want to set alerts or not. And that's just, my experience in taking a look at a ton of charts, over the time I've been in crypto. So for you, you may want to go ahead, and I would certainly encourage you to take a look around a little bit longer, but for me, like I said, there's just not much that I need to go ahead and see. Now, if I want to explore a bit more, I'll explore a bit more just to go ahead and see what the owner's doing, see if there are any concerning things in the chat, see how active the team is in terms of making sure they're taking care of FUD and so forth. But like I said, for me, for the purpose of the series, there's just not a lot that I need to see, for the purpose of what I'm doing in the video, to go ahead and instruct you, and act on setting alerts or not, so, but either way, here we are, and this is at 152K. So, all right, so going under, we're setting this at 152K. And for this one, we're going to go to 125, just because I think they've got, it looks like they're trying to do a lot in terms of, getting the trending going on from multiple places. And so it could still, go under 100K, but I want to set it at 125 just so I can keep a closer eye on it. So that's what we're going to do here. And then for the over, all right, so I'm going to paste that in. And for the over, we'll set this at 175. Okay, so there we go. So the alerts have been set there. And then we're going to close this one out. Okay, so that's day. And then for this one, again, we got that, stair climb, kind of chart. So for this one, absolutely, assuming everything goes is okay that I see on the Telegram channel, this one's definitely going to be an under alert only. I wouldn't be setting an over on this one. So, okay, so here we go. Just go straight to tap to verify, and you'll be able to go ahead and get their portal right away. And we're looking at the last buy. Last buy was at 155. 155. This is outside of the buy window for me. So for this one, I wouldn't be interested in watching this one. As soon, for me personally, if I don't see a buy within 10 minutes, it's immediately a no for me. And that's just kind of my own standard, for how I go ahead and operate, with respect, to to some of a lot of these tokens. Now we saw that something happened, with the Telegram. I want to make sure that they didn't just decide to go ahead and rug this one. So, so yeah, because that shouldn't have happened. That it was automatic, it just disappeared. So, and I don't know if I had to verify something, when I get with it. yeah, so they just went ahead, and I think this one just rugged. So let's see what's going on here. So you can no longer access the Telegram, but we don't see any evidence of a rug, on this one. Maybe, and this happens in crypto, especially if you're new, maybe somebody went ahead and hacked the Telegram and took it over. So, and if that's the case, then people find out that they can no longer access the Telegram, what's going to happen? People are going to go ahead and start selling just out of panic. So for this one, I'm going to leave this one alone. But if you want to keep up with what's going on with this one, you're certainly more than free to go ahead and do that. But you can no longer access the Telegram. I'm glad that we saw that, live during the recording. But typically, it could, there are two scenarios there. One, project rugged, but we're not seeing evidence of that, on the chart. And two, that somebody hacked the Telegram and took it over, which means nobody's going to be able to, access the Telegram other than the people that are already in it. Well, actually, that might not even be the case, because I was in it and they went ahead and they kicked me out, So yeah, so I'm not really sure. Or it could be that maybe I was supposed to verify something when I came into the chat, which I already verified through the portal, and that kicked me out. So I don't know. It's one of those three scenarios. So I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. And for Ski Mask Doge, we got their Telegram here. So I'm going to go ahead and access that. All right, so we get their portal here. So we're going to click. Okay. So this is a CTO. We can see that immediately. They're trying to go and get votes for trending. When was the last buy on this one? So this is 208, almost, okay, 206. So this last buy was just within that 10-minute window for me. So we'll continue. Let's keep an eye on this one. I don't see anything that resembles trending. They got some, so I'm going to go ahead and translate this to English. Dex Tools update. Okay. Okay, something going on in TikTok, which is good to see. But I don't see any rating and I don't see any trending, so they're just trying to focus on getting, votes to go ahead and get the major buy bot trending. So yeah, so for this one, I mean, 50-50 can continue to go up, but I think it's more than likely to go down, just because we're not seeing anything that's engaging the community to go ahead and continue to expand exposure, for this token. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set my alert, I'm only going to set the under alert on this one. So over, setting under, and this one's going to be at 50K, and I'm going to set this for 35K. Okay, and we're going to close this one out, and then for this one, let's take a look at the channel. And okay, no portal. Doesn't look like we got any kind of portal for this one. I'm looking for a buy, still looking for a buy, still looking for, okay, so this is at 202. This one's outside of my buy window, as well. So outside of the 10-minute mark for me, but if it's something you want to go and keep an eye on, feel free. But didn't see any rating, didn't see any trending, just kind of scrolling through just a bunch of memes. And a lot of times as well, if you just see a bunch of memes and you don't really see much activity other than the memes, you're going to continue to see retracement. That's been my experience, on the chart. So we're going to go ahead and close out of this one. And I think that's going to do it for me. Like I said, sorry guys, I wasn't really too energetic on this video, just because, like I said, I'm a little bit under the weather, but, I'm trying to go ahead and shine up, show up, rain or shine, on this series, so, and, it's life, sometimes we have days where we feel great, and we got days, where we don't, but I know when I spent time around my family, had some people that weren't feeling that great, so I think I got a touch of it. But hopefully, through some rest and some prayer, I will start to feel a little bit better. But I want to thank you so much for joining. And you'll see that if you check out any of the other videos, I'm much more spirited. But this one, like I said, just wanted to make sure we got a video out to you guys today. And I'm going to get ready to continue to prepare for my trip. And then I'll hopefully see you guys, on another video, either tomorrow or the next day. But if anything goes on, with my availability, I'll make sure to go ahead and leave something, in the community tab that gets broadcasted to anybody that is subscribed to the channel. So make sure that you subscribe so that you can stay connected, with anything I'm communicating, to my subscribers, on YouTube. All right. So thank you so much for watching. You guys enjoy the rest of your day and take care. Bye-bye.